Well, we're trying to do a video fishing for steelhead on the swing, a swing video, steelhead. This is what we're dealing with. You can tell the water's running behind the trees. It's just, we're flooded. The river's dumping like 2,200 CFS. Normally this time of year we're somewhere between 185 and 335 CFS. This is what happens when the watershed gets over 4 inches of rain within 12 hours. It's juicy. We got a lot of water. I'm trying to find a steelhead right now at this stage of the game. We need to cover a lot of water. We got to fish through the pools, and we can't. We are really wet. Well, we're going to keep trying, but this might be a video showing us failing miserably. We got a lot of water for this time of year, huge amounts. Alright, once again we're dealing with some really high water flows here, like 2,200 CFS, so our options are really limited. As you can tell, we're covering water and we're struggling. But here, even though it's a little faster than walking pace, we got some fast water. We got a small inside seam here. It's a short cast, and it's really not a lot of water. Kind of goes down through here, probably 50, 60 yards of water here. It's probably got an inside soft seam. So I'm going to give it a run just so you can tell. I use my rod as a pointer. Turn the camera here a little bit so you can see what we're talking about. Hopefully I can pick it up on the camera. We got a slower bit of water right in here. And then there's just stuff that this particular spot, it consistently picks up speed until it gets out there. So what I'm going to do is worry about the inside half of this, right in through here. And as they get further down, the water gets a little roily and boily. So I'm going to cover that water and just see if something comes up. I'm running right here. It's a fairly good sized fly. It's tied on a tube. It's a Mickey Finn style fly. Got a little bit of color. And it's basically a pretty good target here. So I'm going to run this. I'm just trying to put out something with some color, something with a good silhouette, and hopefully something to look tasty and get them to break out of their comfort spots, because they are tucked in some real comfortable water, and just see if I can't trigger a chase with it. Now let's see what we can find. Alright, the presentation I'm using in here is a little bit different, what you might think for swinging flies. You might notice I'm kind of working a fly, landing it a little upstream, doing a high stick, kind of almost like I'm nipping, dropping the rod. What I'm doing is, yeah, I am kind of doing it. I'm casting up, laying it out, and letting that tip have a chance to bite. Because the water's so fast and deep, I need to give it a lot more dead drift time to get the depth before I start to swing. So very often I'll be up just a little bit above it, running the rod high, dropping the rod through the drift, then working the swing. This whole lot more, in this fast, deep water, I need more setup time. And because I'm close, I'm fishing fairly close, even with a big stick, I still need, I can use the big stick as an advantage. I can work more line and give more setup time, aka sink time for the tip, to bite down and get the fly down before I start my swing. So it's a little bit of how I'm coping with these water conditions. I just hope I can get a fish to eat. Real quick equipment thing. This particular rod I'm running here is a 13.5-foot 8 weight, and I got a Game Changer Type 3 scheduled driver head on it, which basically boils down to is I got a chunk of floating on the tip, a center of intermediate, and so this is the intermediate part, and then there's a little tip that's kind of a Type 3 sinking, and then I'm running 12 foot of T14. So this rod is handling it pretty good. It is a newer rod. I'm still kind of getting it tuned in for me. I think I got an old tired reel connect core running line on this reel, and I think the running line is really dragging on the cast. So what I'm probably going to do with this setup is try it with a OPS like 50-pound mono running line. As time goes on, I'm becoming more liking the mono running lines. So I'm going to try a different running line on this thing to see if it helps with the casting, lays out a little smoother, because everything's going good, and then I think the running line's really dragging it down. So I think I got a tired old beat running line that's really probably robbing 20% of the casting energy. So, but anyways, it's a 13.5 foot with a scheduled setup, a Game Changer setup, which I really like for these conditions, because with the Game Changers, with the intermediate and the sink part, it'll cut down below the surface hydraulics and run underneath those. Plus it'll slow the swing down. When I got that Type 3 Game Changer paired up with T14, I got floating intermediate sink, kind of good sink, and then real fast sink. So I get a nice gradual taper down to the fly in depth control. And it also slows the swing down. So that's what I'm using right here, right now. However, I haven't been too successful yet with these conditions, but we'll keep running some water. This is day 2 of running around the river trying to get a steelhead. Yesterday, I dealt with a lot of high water, which you'll see right after I get done jammering. Where I had to deal with this river at 2200, just insanely high water for this time of year. As you can tell, we're in early March with all the trees out and everything's exploding in life. We're chasing drop backs. But we had 2200 water, and it was just miserable trying to find water, 1, safe to step in, 2, slow enough to get a decent swing, and 3, where a fish might sit. So it was kind of a fool's errand, but we tried. And I talk a little bit about how I handle that water and the lines and so on. Today, or this morning, they dropped the water down to 750. So I'm in the bottom end of the river. The water's still probably a fat 750. It's probably still dropping a little bit. But what I'm hoping, when they drop, some of those steelhead will get into the bigger pools and we can get a fly to them and get a bite. The water's still kind of big, even for 750, because they got so much runoff. Understand that 2-3 days ago, before shooting this video, This watershed got up to places 4 inches of rain in about 10 hours. It just came down. So we just got absolutely blasted with rain, and this is what we're dealing with. Kind of like you, when we go to shoot a video, we got to deal with the conditions we have. We can't pick the ideal conditions. You fish when you get a chance. That's what you do. Here again, we video when we get a chance. And we've been busy on the water taking all you folks fishing. So I'm going to run this water a couple of times and see what I can do. I am videoing on my own because Rick and George are quite busy still. But we got to get something to you other than me gassing about the fishing. So I'm going to run probably run about my 9 or my 13.5 foot 8 weight. Definitely I'm staying with T14. And in fact, I'll give you a quick run what I'm using for the rod. Probably the same rod as I ran yesterday. The same rig today. You know, game changer line, T14 tip, 13.5 foot 8 weight. And I'm just going to try to blast this water. Try to get a fly as deep as I can and slow as I can. Today, what's even more important is even though we got the water's down, it's still kind of fast. So I got to slow that swing down. So I got to pull all sorts of line handling tricks to get it slow. And hopefully I can find you a fish. If I'm going to hit this water and feel the waters, I'm going to try to protect the camera as much as I can with this rain. And let's see what we can do. And maybe, like you said, I struggled yesterday. Maybe today I can find you a fish. So hopefully you find day 1 interesting. And day 2 today, or day 2, maybe there'll be a fish. Let's see what we can do. It's fishing. It's steelheading. We do our best. Kind of a fly from yesterday. Let's try it again today. Well, so much for the plan. Mother Nature had other ideas. Very shortly, the skies opened up and it started to pour, and it poured pretty seriously, so I had to quit videoing before I wrecked the camera. So much for that day, and so much for trying to find a fish. But, like you say, you fish when you get a chance. I'm going to be back on the water the next day. It's time to stop being a video photographer and get back to being a fishing guide. Back to being a fishing guide. So much for being a cameraman. I'm got some clips here with me and my guys here fishing a little bit, covering some water. I apologize for the quality of the video and the quality of the video camera work. I'm trying to work off of my iPhone, and it's not easy to be guiding, netting fish, rowing boats, and everything else I do as a guide with a iPhone in my hands trying to video. But at least it gives us a chance to see as the weather improved, the conditions improved, the fishing improved a bit, and we were able to, over the next few days, find a few fish with my groups. Hope you find it interesting and enjoy. Yeah. That action. Alrighty, you right? No, I'll be right there. No, I'll get some of that action, just hang on. Now let's see if I can do a net job and a video job at the same time. And I did. And it just kind of spin around into the current and send her on her way. Sorry. It's all right.
Yeah, good going, man. Yeah, we all, yeah.
Just take your time, play with them, work her into the soft water, and I'll net her. Just don't mess it up. I actually got the video camera running. Well, folks, thanks for watching. I hope you found some useful fishing tips in this one, because obviously we're dealing with some tough conditions. You know, I always say, you know, we fish when we can and we deal with the conditions we get. I would like to show you a couple of fish being pulled out of those tough river conditions, but unfortunately just couldn't do it. But that's how I cover tough fishing conditions and how I handle with some of these rivers and bigger water flows in these rivers. And I apologize for the poor camera work, because I was being a fishing guide, not a camera guy, and trying to video through my iPhone, which doesn't work as easy as you'd think. So once again, thanks for watching. As always, please give us a hand, help us out a little bit, leave a comment, and also please hit the subscribe button down in the right hand corner and a little bell icon, because that'll tell us when we have the next video up. And at this point, we're heading off to the trout streams. So, see you in the water, folks. Thanks for watching. This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries. And then during the spring and the summer, we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer, we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.